Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Russinize Your Day Show, where we take politics and ruin its self-esteem. I'm your host, Russ. Yeah, I know. I didn't actually want you to talk.
Oh, okay, thanks.
You actually still said, oh, and you could see it was still muted. Why didn't you just say something, though? You like, get all serious and tap my arm and then point at the screen.
Well, because I wanted you to realize that you still had me on... Oh, my... You still had me on mute. I'm not entirely sure where I'm going with my words today.
Are you ever? It is the Friday edition of the Russinize Your Day Show as we get ready for an action-packed weekend. What?
And I'm Brent.
You've had, like, all this time to introduce yourself.
I know, but we just got talking, and I couldn't figure out words I wanted to say, okay? Or how to say them.
Isn't that kind of an introduction for yourself, just in general?
No, I speak very goodly, so...
Yeah. Got any big weekend plans, my friend?
Let's see. The trip to Fiji has been cut to next weekend, and
that was our company trip to Fiji. We had to push it off a little bit.
Yeah.
We had too much money.
Yes.
That we had to burn through a little bit before we go down on our Fiji trip there.
Yep. So nothing this weekend.
Boy, we are quite the fun group here because I don't have any plans either.
Oh, that's sad. We need to liven it up a little bit.
Yeah, we need a life.
Hey, does anybody know of a great fiesta this weekend?
Fiesta?
Yes, that's Spanish for party?
Yeah, when's St. Patrick's Day? Because that'd be
the 17th.
The 17th?
Oh, I do have a birthday party this weekend.
Is it at Chuck E. Cheese again?
No, shush. I do have friends that are, okay.
Do you?
I was going to say my age, but...
I know that's what you were going to say, and I'm just saying, do you?
No, not really.
No.
Nobody's hanging out with 12-year-olds these days. Not even 12-year-olds. I've been told that I act like I'm 12.
That's true. Yes,
so.
I will validate that. I will back that up. That is very true.
Don't back it up too much.
You know who else apparently likes to hang out with 12-year-olds?
Michael Jackson.
Ben Carson.
Oh.
Because apparently Donald Trump calls him a pedophile, or at least compares him to a pedophile. And what does Ben Carson do?
He slaps him down.
No, you think that would be the appropriate response to somebody who compares you to a pedophile, but no.
He rebukes him.
Nope.
Oh, my goodness.
No. You're so close, though. So close.
Hopefully he didn't stab him.
We know how we actually on that one.
Carson.
But no, he endorses him. Because, Donald Trump made fun of him for the stabbing thing as well. Made fun of his religion, compared him to a pedophile. And what does Ted Cruz do? Ted Cruz runs with a story that Ben Carson himself started, that he was dropping out of the race. And apparently the comparing to a pedophile, the criticizing him for stabbing somebody, the throwing shadow on his religion, that's apparently far better than what Ted Cruz did.
Yeah, apparently, false accusations and
there's nothing worse.
Yeah, and
actually there is a lot worse in Ben Carson's world apparently, because he endorsed the guy who I don't understand that at all.
Well, okay. My thoughts, just real quick. Ben Carson, when he was running, and even still now, I thought was a very honorable man, a man with character, a man with principles.
A lot of people did.
And now he comes out and he's like, you know what? I'm going to go for the guy that wants to take away constitutional rights, and I want to go for the guy that has a love lust for his daughter, and I'm going to go for the guy that constantly lies. But you know what? I'm going to back him because he called me a pedophile, and he said I was a mediocre doctor. So why not?
All attention is good attention, apparently. We will be talking more about that later in the episode. First, I'd like to get to some questions that we had from a listener that we started. They sent us this on Tuesday, Monday, sometime earlier this week.
I think it ended in a day.
And we briefly, yes, that's true, very true. We very briefly covered it. We're going to go a little more in depth with this. They asked us what states that voted Tuesday were closed primaries, which means that only the party if you're a registered Republican, you can only vote in a Republican primary. That's a closed primary. If you're open, you can cross over. Gets crazy. Independents can get in there. It's just a giant mess. But we noted that Mississippi was an open primary, but we really didn't cover any of the others, which were Kansas, Hawaii, and Michigan, that were in the GOP side that voted. So what states have closed primaries? I was doing a little research on this, and I was kind of getting – it was tough because I was kind of getting mixed results when I was looking this up. Wikipedia said there were only 15 states, and we know how reliable Wikipedia is.
Yes.
And but I went with Ballotpedia.
Very nice.
Sound pretty,
Excuse me.
Whew. Thought we were being bombed there for a second.
I peed a little.
I did. I know that. That was a powerful sneeze. You were so you got that mute button down, and that was impressive. You still.
I tried. I felt it coming on, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna it's gonna be a quiet. No, it's not. This is. I'm turning into the Hulk.
You did. No, you don't want to see me when I'm angry.
You don't want to see me when I'm sneezing.
In fairness, I rarely want to see you ever. But here's a list of the states that are closed primaries. Colorado. Unaffiliated voters, however, can declare a party affiliation at the polling place. You okay over there?
Yeah. Continue.
Okay. I'm just saying, we're on, on
that's why I was trying to go over here. Way to just throw my stuff out there.
You were kind of the one throwing your stuff out there. Connecticut is a closed primary. Delaware, the District of Columbia, which is actually tomorrow for the Republicans, so that'll be interesting to see how that goes.
Yep.
Florida is a closed primary. Idaho, Republicans only. That's the Democrats have an open primary. Iowa, but voters may change party affiliation on the day of an election. However, it should be noted Iowa was a caucus, though, too.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Kansas, unaffiliated voters may choose the party the day of the primary, but may not vote in the primary and remain unaffiliated. So
if you're an independent, you have to pick either Democrat or Republican?
Yep.
Okay.
Kentucky, Maine, Maryland, Nevada, New Jersey, newly registered voters may choose a party at the polls. New Mexico, parties may choose to hold semi-closed primaries by changing party rules, but as of January 2016, primaries were closed. So, New York, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
That's Republicans only. Democrats are open. Oregon, according to Fair Vote, the primary remains closed for the presidential and legislative elections. However, as of February 2012, the Oregon Republican Party voted to open the Republican primary to unaffiliated voters for the offices of Secretary of State, Attorney General, and Treasurer. So some state-level primaries are apparently open. See, these are all set by party rules, so that's why it gets a little confusing. Pennsylvania, South Dakota for the Republicans only, Utah for the Republicans only, and Wyoming, a voter may change party affiliation on election day. So there's about
that many.
There's a lot.
Go
ahead.
You know what's really weird, though, is in Michigan, I think it was closed, too.
No, Michigan wasn't closed because I didn't have to... You have to choose which party you vote in.
Oh, okay.
But I could vote in any of the primaries.
Okay.
I can only vote in one, though. Like, I have to choose if I want to vote in Republican. But a Democrat could choose, I want to vote in the Republican one.
Okay.
So it's interesting to note. Here we have, which ones have voted already? We've got run down this. Idaho, Kansas,
Yep.
Idaho, Iowa, and Kansas. Three states. Ted Cruz won all three of those.
Kentucky,
Maine. Donald Trump won. Maine, Ted Cruz won. Nevada, Donald Trump won. And Oklahoma,
Cruz.
Ted Cruz won. So we have so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 states that have voted that are closed primaries already. Ted Cruz won 5 of them. 5 out of the 7.
That's pretty impressive.
That's quite impressive. The interesting thing, obviously I mentioned District of Columbia, Washington, D.C. votes tomorrow. Florida's a closed primary.
Oh, man. Nail biter right there, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Nail biter.
Nail biter. It's also something to note that in Kentucky, and where's the other one? Oh, Nevada. Well, Kentucky was very close.
Yes, it was.
4 points.
Wasn't Nevada more of a caucus than a primary?
Nevada was a caucus.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
Nevada was a caucus. Kentucky was Kentucky a caucus?
No, Kentucky was a primary.
But Kentucky was within like 4 votes. So it is interesting to see 5 out of the 7 closed primaries that have voted already have gone to Ted Cruz.
Yes. Don't tell Donald Trump, though.
Right. Well, he always loves to cite the polls, but what he doesn't cite about the polls is that he underperforms them each and every time.
Yes, and
I don't think there's been one where he's outperformed the polls, has he? Maybe New Hampshire.
I don't even think New Hampshire, because...
Did he outperform in there? No, because he didn't.
No, because Kasich was giving him a run for a while, too.
Yeah, that's right.
And in Virginia, too.
Yep.
Only it wasn't Kasich, it was Rubio.
Yep.
So, yeah, he's pretty much underperformed, and he's also, holds the highest percentage for being the most disliked candidate in all of U.S. history.
Yeah, not just it is actually the highly unfavorable candidate ever.
Yeah. Which is saying something, because Hillary Clinton's in the race, who most voters can't trust and says is dishonest, and she has a higher rating than he does by what? I think 30.
Is it?
Yeah. Because I think he's at a -50 and she's at a -20.
Yeah, so there you have it. Those are the states. It's rather about half, a little over half, of these states have closed primaries, while the other half is open. And again, of the 7 on this list of closed primaries that have already voted, Ted Cruz has won 5 of them. Marco Rubio, do we know how many he's won of these so far?
Yeah, he's won. None of them.
None of them.
None of them.
He did win in Puerto Rico. Took all the delegates from the one place that doesn't get to vote in the general. Well, actually, I don't know if it's technically the one place.
Well, I think Guam is.
Yeah, and is it the Northern Mariana Islands?
Yes.
Do they vote as well?
I think they're all voting tomorrow with D.C.
My problem is, though, as Congressman Hank Johnson brought up, is there worry that Guam is going to tip over?
Not if
you get all these voters out and about. Is Guam just going to flip right over?
Let's hope not, and let's hope that the island of Guam puts the polling booth in the center of the island, so that does not happen. Of course, then
you got to balance it out. I mean, that's true.
Yeah.
You got to be careful.
Of course, then you might want to be careful of a bow in the middle. So
there's so many different things. How does Guam even have? How can they function? Because everything you have to take into account the fact that it might flip over. Let's go over to Hank Johnson here. He's got some concerns.
The only thing I would have to say to that is
add to it.
Each and every day the Guam people have to have a balance in their life.
A balance.
This is a island that at its widest level is 12 miles from shore to shore.
Yeah, 12 miles.
And at its smallest level, or smallest location, it's
For the love of
7 miles.
Sorry.
between one shore and the other. Is that correct?
Thank you for giving us a really boring geography lesson on Guam, Congressman.
I don't have the exact dimensions, but to your point, sir, I think Guam is a small island.
Very small island, and about 24 miles, if I recall, long.
Just gotta say here, I love how the general he's talking to is like, it's a very small island, and Hank is like, yes, very small, and then goes on to proceed with telling how small it is actually.
So 24 miles long, about 7 miles wide at the least widest place on the island, and about 12 miles wide
this is like China is
on the
us.
widest part of the island. And I don't know how many square miles that is. Do you happen to know?
Well, I don't have that figure with me, sir. I can certainly supply it to you if you'd like.
My fear is that the whole island will become so overly populated that it will tip over and capsize.
We don't.
Capsize. His fear is that the island will become so overly populated if we send troops there. That's what they're talking about at this point. But we send troops there, and it's just going to capsize.
This guy is a congressman?
Yes.
I'm running for Congress. You heard it here first, people. I am running for Congress.
Yeah, you have a chance now with Hank Johnson.
I might not be able to give you the dimensions of Guam, but I tell you right now, I will find them out for you, and I will bring it to you.
And please bring them in just that boring a fashion. Well, I think if it's 12 miles across at its widest.
I see why nobody.
But then if it's I don't know the square mileage of it. I don't know if you happen to have that on you at the moment, General. I mean, do you care if we got a ruler out? We could probably measure across Guam. My fear is that if the predicament becomes that it is overly populated, it will capsize.
Capsize.
You
know, for the people that are listening and watching, you can't really see it, but the congressman actually, well, you'll see me on YouTube do it, but he actually does a capsize.
He acts it out, just in case you didn't know.
He moves his entire upper body. It capsize. So.
But yeah, so that is going to the polls in Guam is a dangerous thing, but they still do it. And they don't get to have a say otherwise. So this is really brave of the people of Guam to go to the polls, because they could possibly never come back.
Yeah.
The whole island may never come back.
Yep. You know what's really nice, though, with Guam is if they ever need to clean up, is they all just move to one side of the island, they tip it, they flip it, and boom!
They start anew. It's fresh.
Yep.
Because that's how islands work.
Yes.
Islands are just giant boats.
Yes, they are.
Out there on the ocean.
Just flip it over. You have some fish probably on there, some sea urchins.
The worst part about Guam, though, is they never quite know who they're going to be voting for because they're not tied down to anything.
Yeah.
So they float around. You know, one day they're over there influencing the English elections. Next day they're down in Australia, back up here in the States.
It's a hectic life on Guam.
Yeah. It's the constant threat of capsizing and the constantly never knowing who you're going to actually be voting for.
You would think they would
election.
You'd think they would invest in an anchor.
But talk about having your districts redrawn.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Guam's moved again. Oh.
The representative from Guam always has to figure out which accent he has to go with when he attends the first session of wherever it is he is.
And the representatives from Guam always hate that they move because then they have to boat in somewhere to catch a plane somewhere. They can't have a plane on the island because
Could capsize.
Could capsize.
Could capsize there. So there's so many variables.
Yeah. But now I'm running for Congress because if he made it, I think I can get in with a little word mixture.
Well, yeah, absolutely. You're a shoo-in at that case. So here we got another question. If Cruz and Rubio combine forces, do they combine delegates too? And this is a question we kind of addressed. It's actually not. It's very complicated, but also kind of easy to an extent. It's complicated to find out how easy it is.
Yeah. I was on Google for a good 3 minutes. No, I'm just kidding. It was more like 15 minutes. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my word.
I'm sitting in there typing things in like, all right, if a candidate drops, do the delegates – actually, there was one point Google is so smart. They brought me to a spot where I could actually fix computers. Because I used the word delegates.
Oh.
Yeah, and they're like, wait. Oh, you could I don't know. I didn't click on any of them.
How does delegates
because you delegate? I don't know. I didn't I was like, no, this is not what I want. But I did find it.
You got a new job now? You're a computer fixer?
Yes. From 15 minutes of reading, I am now IT. So
you're a certified computer lawyer actually now from Arizona State University.
I am.
So
all while giving plasma and saving lives.
Wow. You're sticking your hand up in my face.
Well, you know what?
Very nice.
I thought maybe you'd like it since you do it to me.
I did not. I don't stick my hand up in your face.
Oh, no. It's just your finger in my nose.
So, if Cruz and Rubio, with your 15 minutes before you became a certified computer repair technician from Southern New Hampshire State University,
It was Southern New Hampshire Institute of Technology.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, you're on the ITs. Okay.
Yeah.
So what did you come across?
It was weird. Google obviously didn't know what I was looking for. There was many sites that. Oh, what I actually found. I'm sorry. You left that wide open.
I did. I left that way too wide open for you. We already had a talk once about your browser history, but now the fact, if I understand it correctly.
Which you probably don't.
Probably not. So correct me, Mr. Computer Repair Technician.
Oh, yes. I don't. Well, a lot of let's be
rather
fair.
Racist.
It's okay.
Just a little bit.
I used to live there. It's okay.
I don't think that is. I mean, I don't think
we're tight. So what? Because I bow? Unbelievable. I can't bow anymore. This is ridiculous.
Oh, for goodness sakes. So in the way I perceive it,
okay.
They're bound to the candidate, and really, once that candidate drops out, they're bound to them until the convention.
Yes, actually, they are. And there's actually two things that can happen. As an example, if Chris Christie had any delegates, sorry, I just find it funny.
Now, see, if they did delegates as donuts,
oh,
he would be way out ahead.
Baker's dozen.
Except, unfortunately for his delegates, then he'd eat them all.
Yes.
That's the problem.
Yep.
So, that's actually why they couldn't give him any delegates, because he would eat them all.
No.
No, these are people.
Yeah.
People, they're not food.
Actually, you know what? I'll use a better example. Because Ben Carson backing Donald Trump, I think he had 4.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Holy cannoli.
Yeah. All right, easy. We're done with Christie. So
is this 4-year-old delegates that Ben Carson has?
Oh. That was too soon.
Donald Trump said it.
Too soon.
Let me pull a line from Donald Trump. I didn't say it. He said it. He said it. I'm not saying it. He said it.
Yeah.
He's a pedophile. He said it. I'm not saying it.
So Ben Carson's 4 delegates could actually, because Ben Carson is now endorsing and supporting Trump, they can actually go behind Trump if they would like. However, so that's one way. So
right now they could?
I believe so, yes.
Those 4 could be like, now you lead Ted Cruz by 102.
Yes, they could do that.
We know it's 4, so 103.
Okay. However, if the delegates do not want to support Donald Trump,
yes,
they will go to the convention as undecided or uncommitted.
So okay. So they do have the option. So we were right the first time we said this.
Yes.
They do have the option to, if they want to, if their candidate has endorsed, the endorsement kind of opens the door.
Yes.
If there's no endorsement, they go into the convention unpledged.
Right. Yep.
Okay.
And then that way, if they're in the convention uncommitted, this is really cool because everybody's talking about a contested convention. So if they go into the convention uncommitted, it gives the GOP kind of an excuse to say, oh, we didn't pick it, the delegates did.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the whole thing. When, of course, the delegates are chosen by the party, the state parties.
Yeah. So they could be committed whether they like it or not.
This is why a contested convention is not a good idea. It's too many. It leaves too many open doors for the establishment, for the party powers to do what they want to do.
Exactly, and really throw out whoever they want to throw out, except for the fact that earlier this week we talked about the Rule 40.
Yeah,
and you have to win at least 8 states. So I don't get why people are concerned about Mitt Romney or Jeb Bush.
Here's why they're concerned about it. May I?
Oh, yeah.
May I?
No, I was just throwing out common sense.
No, I understand. It's a good thing because I was going to bring it up. They're concerned about it because at any point, and I heard from some inside sources, we have some of those. I just want people to know. I heard from some inside sources that they are planning to vote on that in April.
Oh, they're going to change it again.
And the thing about Rule 40 is they can change it to whatever they want to kind of carve around, the candidate. Like we pointed out, right now it stands that you have to win 8 states. That's the Rule 40. They did that to block Ron Paul from being able to get the nomination at a convention because he would have been pretty popular there.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, Ron, you only won 7. Darn it.
Yeah.
Maybe next time, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's very
they could maybe change the rule and be like, you have to be named Mitt Romney to get the nomination.
Or they should change it to you have to win at least 5 closed primaries.
Yeah, right? They could be very, very specific about something like that. I mean, they probably could. But this is what I find interesting. This is my conspiracy theory.
Oh, good.
I'm going to get into my Michael Savage, Alec Jones. I need a band.
You know who sounds like Alec Jones?
Who?
Besides Alex Jones?
Yeah, he does. Yeah. He sounds very similar to himself.
Rush. I want to hear Rush cry on the microphone because it will be like, oh yeah, oh yep, that's Alex.
I don't know. Can Rush cry? I think that's the real question. I don't know if that's true. We have no evidence of that. But as I was saying, my conspiracy theory here is: remember what Jeb Bush said? He said you have to lose the primary to win the general. And what did Jeb do?
He dropped out of the primary.
He lost the primary.
Well, yeah. If you wanna go that route.
So technically, the thought could be there.
Yeah.
Could persist that he could come back at the convention and then go on to be the nominee for the primary.
Yay!
I mean, for the general.
Yeah,
Excuse me, general.
So yes, to answer the question though, if it was a Cruz Rubio ticket,
if they teamed up and Cruz is like, hey, you be my vice president.
I do believe the candidates could say, hey, back this guy to their delegates.
Yes. Yeah.
But, I mean, that would be huge because even if most of Rubio's delegates went to Cruz, I mean...
Well, here's the thing that I would love to see, and I don't understand why Marco Rubio's still in it. But let's say he stays until Florida. He somehow manages to win Florida, which is not looking too good for him at the moment. It's actually looking better for John Kasich in Ohio than it is for Marco Rubio in Florida. And the problem with Marco staying until Florida, if he does lose, he's done.
Yeah.
He's ended his political career. But let's say he does manage to pull out a win. He takes those delegates, combined with his 151 others, and he signs on to the Cruz team, that would be big.
That would be.
But I don't know. But again, he's taken a huge risk staying in for Florida. He hasn't performed well, folks. He took away, at most I heard, he might have gotten one delegate from this past Tuesday. One delegate. John Kasich got more than him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, John Kasich isn't performing any better. I mean, yes, Rubio's third. He's a strong third, I guess.
Not a strong third. Not a strong third.
Well, he's doing better than Kasich. Kasich isn't even in the triple digits.
No, that's true.
At least Rubio is. However, why don't they both just drop out? Kasich's running for vice president anyways. Just sit down, and then Rubio just needs to sit down with Cruz and say, hey, together we're going to be the strongest ticket.
Yeah, and they would be. They would be a very powerful ticket if they did it. They would have, even if he happens to lose Florida, this is why he needs to do it before, because he could throw his support behind Cruz. Even if they lose Florida, the delegates, the 151 delegates he would bring over to the Cruz side, major.
Yeah. Well, not only that. For the rest of the primary, if it's a Cruz-Rubio ticket, you just at least doubled your votes.
Yeah, and you can have Rubio out there hitting Trump, being the attack dog against Trump. He's proven he's quite good at it.
Yes, he is. And and when it comes down to it, if Marco Rubio does not win and does not go on, he's not running for the Senate. The next time that he can possibly run for a public office is 2020. Ooh, 2020. Yeah.
Well, and I mean, he could run for Senate again in Florida. He could run for governor of Florida, which I think those come before.
Yeah, I think those are both 2018.
Yeah.
So
he's got but again, if he loses Florida, that's a real big stain on his political career, and he goes away.
Yeah.
Illinois. Now see how the polls are shaping up. Ted Cruz is in position that he could take Illinois. It is an open primary, though. That's the one problem, and it is Illinois.
Yes.
Ohio, John Kasich is, according to polls, is looking quite good there, and in Florida, Trump is dominating. Trump leads in every poll. Basically, is what it boils down to. The problem with that is he's underperformed every poll every time, as we mentioned earlier in the show. Every time.
Yeah,
while the only one who's really exceeded polls is Ted Cruz.
Exactly.
He has outperformed the polls.
Yeah.
And this is something that it doesn't seem to register with people. It baffles my mind because they look in there, well, Trump's leading everywhere. But when people have actually voted, he's underperformed and he's lost. He has finished third place.
Oh, yeah.
Lest we forget Minnesota. In general, I think we could just...
it's Minnesota. Yeah, it's Minnesota. But yeah, it's very interesting to see the political field right now and how people are like, we're still holding hope for Kasich and Rubio. Why?
I know.
They haven't won!
But that is changing. National Review has officially endorsed Ted Cruz. They were the ones who led the Against Trump and really started the whole Never Trump campaign, if you will. They have officially endorsed Ted Cruz as the candidate who can beat Trump. Mark Levin has endorsed Ted Cruz. And also Senator Mike Lee from Utah. He brings in Ted Cruz's first Senate endorsement. Where Donald Trump has always said that nobody in the Senate likes Ted Cruz. Well, I guess there's at least one person, so that's not nobody. So, of course, Donald Trump gets the endorsement of Donald Trump proclaimed pedophile Ben Carson.
Yes.
So that's what we've got going on in the endorsements. It's interesting. Sarah Palin vanished.
Yes.
Specifically after the Alaska loss by Trump.
But more specifically, after Iowa caucus.
It's true. The main primary, or that was a caucus. The main caucus. That took him forever to tally those votes. Oh my gosh. But Paul LePage, governor.
Who?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So we've got Trump's endorsements haven't really been paying off.
No, they haven't. And where's Chris Christie? After the picture of him looking hungry or confused or gassy, standing behind Trump, where's Chris Christie at?
Exactly. Nobody knows.
Which is weird.
Somebody might want to check the nearest Krispy Kreme.
Which is, I mean,
he probably could find him there.
He's not that hard to find.
Basically, anywhere there's food or anywhere where you're sitting and suddenly your water starts to make the ripple effect like in Jurassic Park. That's where Chris Christie is. Folks, thanks for listening. This has been the Russinize Your Day Show. Too far on that one? Too far on that one?
No.
Just far enough.
I think we might get a couple emails about that, but that's okay.
Probably. We're used to it at this point. So this has been the Russinize Your Day Show, part of the WHRL network at whirlwindmedia.com. There's no I in whirl. To contact us, send your emails to russinize at whirlwindmedia.com. That's RUSSINIZE at WHRLwindmedia.com. Follow us on Twitter at Russinized. That's Russinize with a D at the end. And check us out on Facebook. Just search for Russinize Your Day. We are also on Google+. You can take the show on the go with you on any of your mobile devices through iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play Music. We think we're not sure on Google Play Music. Please rate and review us on iTunes and help us spread the word about the Russinize Your Day Show. And also, if you have found us on Google Play Music, let us know, because we're lost.
Yes.
Completely lost. If you want to see what happens while we record, then subscribe to the show on YouTube and watch the video version of the Russinize Your Day Show. You get this. This is beautiful. Beautiful people. Make sure you check out www.whirlwindmedia.com to stay up to date with everything Russinize Your Day. Whirlwind Media is developing new projects, and we have some exciting things coming in the near future, so keep an eye on that. We hope you have a great rest of your Friday. Have a great weekend, and we look forward to talking to you again on Monday. We'll be talking about Super Tuesday 3.0.
Oh, yes.
Right now for crying out. I'm Russ.
And I'm Brent.
Thanks for listening.